What's up, guys? I'm Tim. This is New Craft Workshop. If you've been here before, welcome back. We truly appreciate your continued support. If this is your first time here, let me tell you a little bit about what we do at New Craft Workshop. We make very easy to build DIY weekend projects that you can get your kids and grandkids involved with if you want to, but you can definitely take my designs and you can dress them up and make some really nice stuff around your house. During the process of this video, we pop up a cut list, we pop up a tool list, we tell you exactly what you're gonna need to get each one of these projects done, and then you're gonna take them out in your shop and you're going to make them your own. Today is another holiday builds video. We're gonna do not one, but two really cool holiday projects that you can get out in your shop and make, customize them, and when you do, join our Facebook group if you haven't already, and submit your photos, your takes on my ideas. I wanna see how you guys have taken my ideas and my basic foundations and then made them your own and made them work in your decor, or maybe you're selling these at a craft show. I'd love to know if you do and how they're working out for you. So, not one, but two projects. Are you ready? Because I'm ready, so let's go. All right, so you just saw project one. It is this cool little set of snowmen. Now this is a very simple project. We're gonna kind of work our way up from the easiest to the more detailed project today. Nothing we make out here is overly hard.
Well, it's easy. Too easy, maybe.
It's just, this one's super easy. So we're gonna start with our cut list, hit our tool list, and then get this thing put together. So let's start, as always, with our cut list. Now, for this project, we're gonna be using 1x4 material, and we're gonna need two pieces cut to 14 inches long. We're going to need one piece cut to 11 inches long, and then we're going to need one piece cut to 6 inches long. Now, the 6-inch long piece, we are actually going to rip 1-inch wide pieces from that. That's what's going to make the brim of the snowman's hat. I'm using my table saw. If you do not have a table saw, then feel free to use a handsaw, jigsaw. Just don't use your miter saw on this, and I have no responsibility if you decide to do so. I would not recommend using your miter saw to rip material down. It's just not safe. Handsaw, jigsaw, something like that would work, but that is your cut list. I told you, super easy. Let's head over here and look at our tool list. We are going to need, of course, a saw. We got to get everything cut to length. We are going to need a drill with a countersink. We are going to need 2 screws to get this material screwed together. We're going to need some wood glue, and we're going to need our brad nailer, or if you don't have a brad nailer, you can use a hammer and nails. So you have your cut list, you have your tool list. Let's build this thing. All right, this project is going to go super quick. That's why we're doing this one first. We have a 14-inch and an 11-inch. These are going to become our actual snowmen. The other 14-inch is going to become our base. Things are going to kind of go together like this. And as always on this channel, if you're new, you don't know what I'm about to say, but if you've been here before, you do. I'm gonna give you the basic blueprint of a very simple project. We're going to make it as easy as possible on video, and then you are gonna take my idea, my design, and make it your own. That's right, you're gonna make it better. You're gonna make it bigger, shorter, smaller, taller. I don't care, just customize it to fit your decor and your needs. When you do, you're going to head down in the description. There's a link to our Facebook group. You're going to join our Facebook group because, number one, you should do that anyway, but number two, then you can share photos of your take on New Craft Workshop's projects, and we share ideas in there, we answer questions, etc. Back to this build. I know you saw that, and I'm going to leave it in because, you know, things happen. This is all we're going to need to do right here. I have found that the easiest way to mark my hole for this is going to take my pencil, and I'm going to just kind of draw a little line where I want these boards to eventually wind up being screwed in, and right in this area right here, kind of centered, is where we're going to pre-drill a hole to drive a screw up from the bottom. We are going to use some wood glue to hold this in place, so by the time the glue dries, we have one screw up in there. This is going to be more than adequate to hold a little crafty style woodworking project like this in place. So we need our drill with our countersink. We're going to drill a hole in either one, and then we're going to line up our material and drive a screw in. So let's do it. And always make sure you are putting some sort of backer board behind your material when you're drilling in. I'm actually going to come up from the bottom and hit my countersink from the bottom. But always make sure you're using a backer board, because you do not want your workbench getting holes in it unnecessarily. So this is going to be an indoor project, so we're using Tite Bond 1 Original. Just going to pop some glue on here. Use the best glue spreader known to man. And then we're going to line this back up in our pencil marks. And then we are going to drive a screw through here. I am using just some standard epoxy coated deck screws that I have. I use it for almost all of our projects. And even though this is going inside, that's the screws I have a ton of in my shop. So that's what we're using. All right, and I'm going to get my screw started enough to where the tip of the screw kind of protrudes from that side. And then you can take your board, line it back up with your pencil marks, press down on it, and that is going to give you your mark. And that's going to hold that in place good enough to where you can now drive that screw in from the bottom. And you are nice and centered in that board. We're going to repeat that for the other one and then move on to the next step. All right, so this is where we're at. We're almost done already. This is a very basic project. This is something that you're going to knock these out in like 5 minutes. This has literally been what we've done here live, 5 minutes. So this particular piece right here is going to be the brim of our snowman's hat. And this is where you're going to get creative. Put it straight, put it at an angle, put it high, put it low. Doesn't matter, because you're going to make it your own. And I'm using 1.25 inch long brads. That's going to get me through both of these pieces of material. And I'm just going to kind of come down a little bit right here. Eyeball where I want that, because that's how we do it here. And I swear to you, I don't think I've had one video ever that I have filmed where I've had my brad gun, my brad nailer turned on and ready to go. And as far as the woodworking, that's it. Now you're going to take it inside and you're going to get creative. You're going to paint this the way you want it. If you want a nose on yours that is a little stand out, that's standing out a little bit, cut you a nose out of some thin material, some craft wood or whatever you might have around the house. Give it some depth. I'm just going to paint mine on so it makes it easy. But the little North Pole thing that you see at the bottom when I showed you the picture at the beginning, those I'll link down below. I picked those up at Amazon, and they're just little plastic things that have the, you know, direction arrows from the North Pole like you saw, and I just hot glued that thing in place. But that is it for the woodworking. I told you this first project is super simple. 2 really cool snowman. You decorate these the way you want to, make them match your decor in your house. Sell these at a craft show. What do we got in here? Like $2 max. I mean, if you got 15 bucks for this at a craft show once it was decorated, pretty good profit. So let's get on to item number 2. All right, let's get on to project number 2. That's this cool little rustic church that you just saw. Now we're going to give you your tool list, your cut list, and then we'll get right into the build on this one. This one also is going to go pretty quick, and I'm going to show you 2 methods to where we can get this thing put together, and then you make it your own and you do you. So let's start with our cut list. This is all cedar pickets 1x6. You're going to need 1 piece 14 inches long. You're going to need 1 piece 8 inches long. And then you're going to need 2 pieces 6 inches long. Now we are going to cut our 14-inch and our 8-inch to a peak in the middle. I'll show you that just in a second here. And then our 2 side pieces to our church are going to be cut at a 45-degree angle going to the long side of the board. And I know that doesn't make any sense, but you'll see it and you'll understand. We are also going to need some slats material. Now, if you don't have access to a table saw and you can't rip your own slats, then you can purchase slats at the Home Depot or at Lowe's, any of the big box stores. They're 1.5 inches wide, usually about 1/4 inch approximately thick. If you can't find them in your lumber section at your big box store, you can purchase some yardsticks in the paint department and cut those to length. And you'll see, I'm not going to give you a cut list on the slats because you'll see how that's going to all come together when we start building this church. So that's what we need for our cut list. For our tool list, we're going to need our saw, of course, to get everything cut down to length. And then we're going to need some wood glue. We're going to need some brad nails, 1 inch long. If you don't use a brad nailer, then of course, just get you some 1-inch brads. You can hammer this together. And then we are going to need, if you do it a second way, I'm going to give you 2 alternatives how this church is going to come together. One of those options is going to be some pocket hole joinery. So you're probably going to need your pocket hole jig and some pocket hole screws. So screws, glue, that's it. Let's get after this. All right, so we're back from the saw. We have our 14, our 8, and our 2 10s. These 2 pieces are going to get a peak for the top of our church. They're going to get a 45 going in both directions. These pieces are going to get a 45 going to the long side. And we're going to mark this out together so you guys can see how it's coming together. And guess what I can't find? Nope. I got my pencil because this is the thing I lose the most, but I can't find my square. I'll be right back. Hello, here we are. So we're going to use our speed square to get our peaks of our church laid out. Now I'm going to measure this just to make sure, but I'm at 5.5 square. So half of 5.5 is what? Quick. That's right, 2 3/4. We're just going to put a mark at 2 3/4. And then we're going to use our speed square to come from that mark down in either direction. And hopefully you're seeing this over here, because if not, this is going to be a great section of the video. So now what we have is we have our peak, and we're doing 45 degrees, making the top of our peak 90 degrees, which is going to make trimming this thing out with our slats a whole lot more easy. So we need to do the same thing on this particular board. All right, now we have our 2 peaks for our church, and now we have these 2 boards. Now, these 2 cedar boards, if you want to leave them the full width, feel free. I ripped mine down. These are 4 inches wide. I just feel like aesthetically it's going to look a little bit better when this church comes together. But if you want to leave yours a full width, again, what do we say? That's right, make it your own. Leave them full width. Cedar pickets, super easy to rip down with a handsaw. Just make sure you clamp your material down, draw you a nice straight line, and rip this down with a handsaw. I made mine 4 inches. So all we're going to do here is we're going to find one of the top 2 corners. It doesn't matter which 2. And we're going to draw a 45 down from that, giving us a nice peak right here. This is going to go up on the side of the church. So let's do this other side real quick. And now we have all of our pieces, and let me show you how this is going to lay out. So we're going to have the 2 sides of our church. We're going to have our peak in the middle. And once these angles are cut, these are going to form our roof lines of our church. So let's head back over to the saw real quick, cut these 45s off, and then we can get back and get this thing assembled. All right, we're back, and this is how this is going to come together, and this is what this is going to look like. Basically, that's it. And then we're going to trim our roof lines with our slats. Now, I am going to connect these 3 pieces together right here with some pocket holes. Now, if you do not want to do pocket holes, or if you don't have a pocket hole jig and the ability to do pocket holes, all you have to do is take some of your slat material, which this is slats, and we're gonna just kind of lay this across the back. Put you a couple pieces here, glue this and tack this in place. It'll hold just fine. So I'm gonna do pocket holes. And I don't think I've done pocket holes on this series in quite a while. So let's get the pocket hole jig out and I'll show you how this comes together. Okay, so a lot of you guys have asked about pocket hole joinery and kind of the basics. So I'm gonna show you a very quick rundown on pocket hole joinery. Now, I have the Craig 720 Pro, and I will tell you, as someone who has had 3 pocket hole jigs in their life, this being my 3rd, spend a little bit of extra money and get a really good quality product. What's great about this is self-adjusting, so no matter what thickness of material you're putting in here, this portion of your jig is going to self-adjust. It's going to lock in place, hold your material. If this was a 2x4, it would hold it in place just as tight as the smaller material because of the self-adjusting feature. The most important thing that you need to do is adjust your bit. You'll see this little hole in the side. Jig is going to come with this screw, and we're going to make sure that we line that hole up with where it says 1/2 inch. Now, why 1/2 inch? Well, that's because cedar pickets are 5/8 of an inch thick. And I am just going to find 2 places randomly on the bottom side and this side, it doesn't matter where. And I'm going to drill a pocket hole on either side of this board. Excuse me, I'm going to drill 2 pocket holes on either side of this board. And when you drive your bit in there, the reason that we have this stop is we want the shoulder of this particular bit. The shoulder is going to stop at a depth that's going to allow it to pull the material together. If you go too deep, your shoulder on your pocket hole screw is not going to have anywhere to bite into, and you're not going to be able to hold your material. So let's drill some holes. All right, and when you're finished, this is basically what your pocket hole joinery is going to look like. And hopefully in here you can see there's like a little shoulder where the bottom side of a pocket hole screw is going to seat. The bottom of the pocket hole screw is flat. When you drive your screw through there, that's going to give you some material to bite into and pull tight up against your other material. So let's go get this thing assembled. All right, we have our special bit for our pocket holes because they do use a square drive. Almost every single time you buy a jig, you're going to get your not only your drill bit, but your driver as well. There are some super cheap options on Amazon that are just as good as the Craig. So I'll pop a couple links down in the description for you guys if you're interested in maybe getting into some pocket hole joinery. So first thing we need to do is just run us a bead of glue on the side, butt our 2 pieces up together. And this is a kind of a rustic looking church. So precision is not completely necessary, but I'm just going to kind of push this flat on my bench and drive this pocket hole screw in, and we'll repeat this 3 more times. We are now at the point where this is how we're assembled, and with our pocket hole joinery, it keeps things nice and flat. This actually could become wall mounted if you put it together this way. If you wind up running slats across the back and you want to hang it on the wall, just know it's going to sit out away from the wall slightly. So I have switched my brad nailer over to some 1 inch long brads because we don't want to go through both sides of our material and into our workbench. So it's now time to glue the front of our church on, and since we're making this our own, at least that's what you're supposed to be doing, use your jigsaw, cut out a little doorway in the front of this church. If you have a little router, route you out a doorway, kind of recess it. Same thing on the side. Feel free to, cut yourself some doorways. We're making the basic version for you guys so that you can then make it your own. But yeah, customize this thing. Let's drive some brads real quick. Okay, so we have disassembled. It's now time to take our slats. Now, hopefully you can see on this camera over here, this is what I cut in my own shop. Usually I rip down my 2x4s and I make them square. I take off the rounded edges, but this is what I'm usually left with. You can get slats very similar to this at the big box store, but now it's just a matter of, we're gonna take these slats, we're gonna lay it here, and we're gonna mark it a little bit past our roof line. Let's just call it 1/2 inch. And that's where we're gonna cut this piece right here to become our roof for this side of the church. Then we're gonna take another piece and we're gonna line these up on the top. And because we did 45-degree cuts and made our peaks 90 degrees, you can see now how our slats are just going to form basic butt joints at the top. So same thing here. We're just going to kind of come in about 1/2 inch, mark it on either side. And I'm going to write a T here because I know these are for my top. I'm going to run over real quick. I'm not going to bore you with cutting these. Let me go cut these and we'll come back and get this church assembled. Okay, we're back. And now that everything is cut, you can see how this kind of comes together and forms a really nice looking roof line, giving this project a little bit of dimension. And you're going to decorate this yourself. So you're going to paint this, you're going to stain it, you're going to do whatever, but you're going to make it your own. All right, again, 1 inch long brad nails, nothing longer than that. We're going to put a bead of glue right on here, and it doesn't take a lot. This is going to stick fairly well to the cedar. And we're just going to pop a couple of brads and repeat this process for the other components. Boom, project 2, finished, super easy, very inexpensive. We have about 2 feet worth of a cedar picket. A 6-foot cedar picket, I think right now, I'll pop it up right here, I'll look it up. I think it's like $4 or less than $4 for a 6-foot. And you're gonna be able to get bare minimum 2 churches out of that. So $2. Slats cost literally nothing if you're making them yourselves from scrap wood. If you're buying yardsticks, you might have another 75 cents to $1 in this. So for $3 and a little bit of your time, of course, minus the screws, glue, brad nails, etc., we've got a cool looking little church. This one is designed to hang on the wall. So I did not bother making a base, but if you would like to make a base for this, you can either use more of your pine, use like a 1x4 on the bottom, or you can rip down a cedar picket and make your base, just make it a little bit wider than this and 2 or 3 inches wide, and you'll be good to go. But yeah, that's it for this simple project, and that's it for another holiday build video from New Craft Workshop. Now, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up for this video because it was pretty freaking awesome. And if you haven't done this already, click that subscribe button. We'd love to have you around supporting our channel by simply watching some videos and then getting out in the shop and making some really cool stuff. Now, each one of these holiday videos that I've been doing, you've noticed some random letters popping up on the screen. Those letters, yeah, I just kicked something, sorry about that. Those letters can be unscrambled and they will form a word related to the holidays. I will give you 24 hours after I post this video to unscramble the words and comment down below. I'll pick 5 lucky people from the group of people who get the answer correct, and I'll send you guys a free Basecamp dust mask. Now, Basecamp is a show sponsor here at New Craft Workshop. It's the mask we use exclusively. It is extremely comfortable, it's breathable, and it filters out like 99.6% of all particulates, which is phenomenal. So, and the fact that it's comfortable and you can breathe in it means you're gonna wear it more often. But I'll pick 5 of you guys. I'll ship you a mask for free. Here are the last 15 winners from the last 3 videos we have put up. Also, when this is done scrolling, I'm gonna pop up our show channel members. We do offer paid memberships. It's our way of asking you to just kind of help support our channel. If you like what we're doing here and you want us to reach more and more people who maybe could learn something like you have, check it out. It's down right below the video. You'll see the button that says join, and we would love your support. So Facebook group, I mentioned that earlier. Join that. I mentioned subscribe. I mentioned thumbs up. I am going to tell you that down in the description, I will pop some links to some products for you. If you don't have a pocket hole jig, I'll give you a couple of my recommendations. If you're looking for a brad nailer, I'll give you a couple of my recommendations. If you want the little plastic arrow thing for the North Pole for the Snowman build, I'll pop that down there as well. Anytime you click those links, it helps benefit Newcraft Workshop very, very slightly, but it helps benefit our channel. So we appreciate it, each and every one of you guys doing that on a regular basis. So that's all I got for you. Coming this weekend will be another beginners project, DIY friendly beginners project. I got a cool one coming this week. I think it's gonna be pretty useful and you guys are gonna enjoy that. So that's all I got for you on this one. And as always, we will catch you on YouTube.